guys? Welcome again to another episode of Unemployed Commentators. On today's episode, we have a guest, Kayla Bushey. She is training for the Olympics in the triple jump. So happy to have her. She's very knowledgeable. This was almost like a triple jump for dummies. That's why we called this episode Triple Jump for Dummies. I just want to give a shout out to her and my co-host. We learned a ton from Kayla on this episode, so hopefully you guys can be more appreciative of her sport and her craft. And if you'd like to support her and other independent athletes, man, there's a lot of people really trying to chase their dreams, and we think that's essentially what the American dream is here. So hopefully you guys enjoy something from this episode. So stay tuned, take a listen. Don't click out of your browser right now, or if you're listening to your podcast right now, don't click out. Stay tuned, listen to the rest of it. Please enjoy our guest, Kayla Bushey.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy G Baby with G Millie. Do you like G Millie, Gary Miller?
I'll go with G Millie. We'll go with that.
All right, I like G Millie.
We got our guest. We got to give her a nickname too.
Yeah. Wait. But we need to formally introduce her to the show.
Her government name.
Yeah. So she is going to be competing at the triple jump too, or what? Is it triathlon?
Triple jump. Sorry,
I should have done a lot more research. It's been a long day. It's her government name is Kayla Bushey, but we call her K Bush. What's up, Kayla? How you doing?
Doing good. These are my high school nicknames.
She's got a better name. She's Kayla Bushey, dude.
Yeah.
Straight Kayla.
Kayla Bushey. I like that one.
Yeah.
Killa B. Let's call her Killa B.
Hell yeah, dude.
I got to keep the bushy. I had to live through it in high school, so now I feel like I just got to own it.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
After going through that with high school, I was like, I'm keeping it. Like. Yeah,
my nickname in high school was Five Head. Because my forehead's so big. Yeah, welcome to the show, Kayla. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me.
I think it's super dope. Like, Kayla is probably one of the best athletes I know in my life. She started out as a college volleyball player, correct?
I did.
Yeah.
That one.
then you started doing multiple events in track as well. Like, you did a bunch, right?
I did. I actually did the HEP in college, which is kind of like every thing you can do in track except for what I'm doing right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
I guess, like, my question too is, like, when do you start to specialize as like an Olympic level athlete too?
I am completely the opposite of what you are supposed to do, quote unquote. Most people, especially track, they kind of know, like, their parents will know from a young age, kind of like gymnastics, like, oh, you're really fast, or you're really good with this, or maybe their parents were Olympians.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the kind of kid who I either wanted to be the president or I wanted to be an Olympic sand volleyball player. And I didn't love politics and I didn't get tall enough. So I kind of went through college and I was in my senior year of college and I did an internship where, you're supposed to get a real job. And I sat at a desk for 3 months from 9 to 5 and I wanted to die. I was like, I cannot sit at a desk and do this. And I'm like, I still feel like I have all this potential that I haven't used up because there just wasn't a ton of coaching at the time, especially you think in a college, you get a lot of coaching, but not for my events. And so 3 months before I graduated, I said, you know what, I'm going to become a professional athlete. And so I kind of Googled and like, how do you become a And the first step was like, make sure you find an environment where you can train in a coach. So about 6 or 7 days after graduation, I moved out to Tennessee and I trained for like a year and a half with a developmental group. And then I moved around a few places. And then now I'm actually back in our college town by Augustana, so I can afford to train and not have to work like 80 jobs. So
yeah,
that sounds amazing,
right? I think it's kind of interesting too because you're someone who's just like, hey, like you said, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm not going to wait for anybody to, and I have all this untapped potential. Me and John, we're both comics, so a lot of time people are like, how do we get into that? And like you just said, just Google it.
For real.
Yeah, we're just like, oh, how do you do a podcast? We'll figure it out. We don't know.
Pretty much. I think that's like one of the biggest things that stops people is that they feel like you're supposed to feel good, or you're supposed to like have all these things stacked up in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really like, I mean, you guys know, it's really just getting started, being uncomfortable, like bombing, having terrible track meets, and then eventually things start to move. Like,
Yeah.
For real. I'm always uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
But I think that's my anxiety talking.
and Jean, he's been trying to get me into competing in jiu-jitsu, but he competes in jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah, dude, start already.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing. I'm like, oh, maybe we'll see. But
Bro, your hips are gonna get used to it.
you know what it is? I'm gonna have Kayla try to get me to do triple jump, and then you try to get me to do jiu-jitsu. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're gonna be a more successful triple jump. I feel like you're a very fast dude.
Dude, I think I can get 2 feet.
Yeah, for sure. How tall are you, Gary? How tall are you, Gary?
About short, you know.
Same. I'm like short foot too.
I'm so short. I'm so short. I went on a date and a girl pulled out a tape measure to measure me to verify it.
Happen.
That's how short I am.
Did that really happen?
Yes.
Oh my god, I thought that was like a lie, dude.
No, dude.
I would have laughed.
Dude, well, I was like, okay, if she's gone this far, I should stay and see what else. Like, it was just
No.
insult after insult.
No, Gary's like, he's like, no, this is good material for my set on
Yeah.
It totally was. I was like, this is brilliant, dude. You're a terrible wife material, but this is great.
Bro, one girl asked me if I get benefits. I'm like, benefits for what? She's like, well, you are legally like a small person, right? I'm like, Jesus, I'm just 5'4". Like, I don't even get benefits.
So Kayla empathizes because she's not tall enough for volleyball, but there's something there.
No,
Shorties.
I was so tiny. I was like, you put me on middle position, and these girls are like 6'3", and I'd have to like jump up before they even like hit the ball, and I smashed in the face so many times. I was like, this is not
Do you think that's transition into your triple jumping?
volleyball.
Yeah.
I think just doing like a whole bunch of sports in high school, because I did volleyball, basketball, and track in high school.
Yeah.
And going over to college, people are usually burnt out.
Mhm.
And instead, I was like really developed in a whole bunch of like lateral cross movements. So I didn't have to worry about injuries. So like my learning curve got sped up because I got to do a whole bunch of stuff. Whereas most people, they'd have to like really develop a whole bunch of little things before they could even try the big stuff. So it's kind of like just get thrown in there.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you sound like I think there's a lot of people, especially with our generation, who are just year-round sports too, just putting kids in like baseball or football just year-round. And I feel like you're someone who, like a Christian McCaffrey too, who can go against the grain and be like, I did all these sports and look what I'm doing now. You know what I mean?
I don't see why not. I think some of the best advice that I ever got from someone was they said, number one, everything always looks better in slow motion. Doesn't matter what it is. So if you're going to compare yourself, don't do it in slow motion. And the number two thing is that almost every world record that's set is set when people are in their 30s, because they have the body and they also have the master of like their mind, and they actually know how their body feels.
It's the prime.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, my prime is going to be when I'm 30 to 35. So I got time.
For real.
Yeah.
That's something Gio talked about our last podcast, like MMA fighters really in like their early 30s starting to hit their peak.
Mm-hmm.
They got that grown person strength.
Yeah. I think, and you're someone too who's kind of, you've touched on like the psychology and the training too. Like, how do you think you've grown with your psychology?
Well, after I left the developmental group, I was by myself for a solid 2 years of just training by myself, like videotaping every rep, going back to look at the videotape. It is incredibly lonely. And if you don't like who you are and you're going home at night at the end of the day and you're looking at yourself jumping into some dirt, like you have to really start to like who you are and what you're doing. And I think it's so funny because I feel like a little kid. Like I go to these meets and I rent cars and I'm like, I can't believe someone just let me go rent a car and go do this. But I think it's like that mix of like still enjoying the process, but also knowing who you are at the end of the day. And that has like helped me grow a ton. And it's just like little things about remembering like not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. Like just those little cliche things that you think like you read on the back, like Post-it notes and stuff, but they're really true. And it's, you know, you can stack them on top of each other. You can have something special.
I feel like two things this podcast has really been talking about a lot. Gio has touched on a lot on cancel culture. I've touched every episode on Tiger Woods somehow. I feel like as an athlete too, like especially when you're trying to make the Olympic team too. I mean, you probably have to deal with a lot of naysay and kind of crapola. You know what I mean? So kudos to you. I think like you had a post recently I really liked. It was talking about just fucking do it. Like don't worry about being a perfectionist.
Yeah,
and I'm paraphrasing. But
no, you're fine. It was like I was in the airport and I was like, you know what? I'm so often, I feel especially like athletes or even if when you're trying to be better than average at anything, it doesn't have to be sports. I think there comes a time in your life where you're not going to have many friends and your family might not really agree with what you're doing. And you have people who are telling you like, you know, it's time to get a job, it's time to do this. And you're trying to perfect something that is so niche. Like, and so at some point, an analogy someone told me, they're like, if you really hold something super, super tight, it's going to seep out of your hands. But if you could just relax a little bit, you can hold more. And so that's what I've been trying to like kind of put in my training now. So it can't be about perfection. It has to be about doing as much as you can right. It's almost like the person who slows down the least wins, not the person who can run the fastest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's brilliant. It's like the tortoise and the hare, Gio.
Yeah, man. I'm a tortoise for sure.
Great.
Yeah. So shall we start this video while we keep on
Absolutely,
chatting?
man. So yeah, now while we have something to kind of give us a background now, I'm excited to watch this because a lot of times when I watch sports I've never played before, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, but that looked really cool. So now I have somebody who's like, hey, teach us this. So,
Yeah, I've never watched triple jump in my life. I'm excited.
yeah. I've seen highlights, yeah. So if you guys are ready, we'll start this video up.
Yeah, we're ready.
Cool. Let's rock. Alrighty. What I love too is like the sponsorship. Like if you got like for like Best First Cantina Media or unemployed commentators on the back for an Olympian shirt, dude.
Yeah.
That's how you know you made it.
Yeah, dude. We should have it in hoodies.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's our athlete right there.
Yeah. And it's really, really tiny on a jersey. Tiny, tiny. Like no one can tell.
No, they have rules. Like you can't have a logo above 2 inches by 2 inches because the entire event is sponsored by like a Nike or an Adidas or something like that. Because most of the sponsorship money goes to the event, and then the event chips off pieces of money for the athletes. So almost about 90% of athletes live below the poverty line.
Damn.
Okay.
So you have to go out and secure your own sponsorship. So yeah, you better enjoy that 2 inch by 2 inch.
This is our time, Gary. This is our time.
This is our time, dude. Well, like I said, we've already started sponsoring some NAIA football team. One.
Really?
Yeah. Kansas was in football. Which shout out to them. Stevie Williams was on the Sports Center top 10 last night. So good for him.
Very nice.
Hell yeah, Gary. Congrats.
Oh yeah, that's good for us, baby.
Yeah, I know, bro.
Because even though we're unemployed, we still find ways to give people money.
Hell yeah, man. Get me out of my day job, dog. I'm tired of calling weed medicine, bro.
Dude, I just you want some medicine?
I just sound like a creepy old man every time I offer it.
I can't wait.
Hey kids, you want some medicine?
Can't wait till there's like sponsorship, just legal weed. Like a big old pot leaf on an athlete's shirt.
Like, God damn it.
Like Manchester United has a big old pot leaf.
It's gonna get that way. CBD is really big this year.
I mean,
Super big.
It's like you'll get somebody's like, "Yo, dude, you tried this new DMT from Pepsi?"
That'd be bad.
Bro, for real, I feel like they'll ruin the trip.
No, this DMT is way different than Coke, dude. Trust me.
Dude, just trust me. Just trust me, bro.
Come on, bro. Seriously, dude. Let's watch The Office, bro. Come on.
Bro, listen to MGK's pop punk album. It's good, I swear, bro.
I think this is like kind of one of the amazing parts too. I'm like, the fan interaction too. Like how close, like some of these events, like I think it was like 98 or something like that. Somebody in the fans stabbed like a tennis player. He got so close.
In England?
Yeah, I think so. It was like Steffi Graf, I want to say.
It's crazy because I always feel like American fans are just really, really loud and drunk.
Yeah.
But like the European fans are just very quiet but very dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of both.
This is the one thing I did want to ask you about. So like when we talk about triple jump, I'm like, okay, there's like a triple jump, but I'm like, how do you gauge how to plan that, I guess?
What part of it?
Like right there, like when we're watching this replay and she's like, boom, bounding, right? Is that the correct term? What would be the correct term? Yes.
So if you're just going alternate, that would be bounding. And then what she's doing right now, her foot just hit the board. And so the first thing is her hop phase. She'll hit the ground to the step phase. And then the third part is the jump phase.
Okay. So, and you're talking in the phases. So for dum-dums like myself, how would you explain that?
All you have to do is hit your heel to your butt once and punch your knee twice, and you'll end up in the sand.
Okay.
Oh.
So you just try to, the thing is that piece of board that they're hitting, it's only 8 inches. And so you're trying to go as fast as you can and hit that 8-inch piece of board and then maintain your momentum or accelerate through each one of your phases so you can keep going faster. It's almost like if you take a ping pong ball and you throw it across the table and it bounces, you don't want to lose any sort of your speed. And so when they hit the ground, you try to be really stiff and you got to kind of like breathe out your air and have your core be tight every time you hit the ground.
Wow.
Okay. So you got to like synchronize your breathing. Sorry, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was about to ask, are there like a lot of knee injuries when it comes to this sport?
There's a lot of injuries in general.
Yeah.
The impact that you take is about 33 times your body weight each time you hit a contact. The world record for men, he's going, I think, 26 miles per hour in his last 10 meters. But the stiffer you can land, what happens is all that force that's going through your body, it goes straight up through your foot and all the way up through your head. And then let's say if you have a break in your body, like if your butt's poked back, that's when you get a hip injury because all of that's shooting through your hip. Or if your knee's out to the side, that's when you get a knee injury because the energy has to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
As long as you can, I mean, that's what training's for though. I mean, every sport you get injuries. As long as like you're doing tons of mobility and like taking care of yourself, you should be pretty good. But almost every athlete has an injury in this event.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how baseball pitchers have like that Tommy John surgery, or is it called?
Tommy John surgery.
Tommy John surgery, like with the elbow. Then you have like grapplers who have like really bad hips or backs, like Gary and I. That's why I ask, because I'm like, ooh, that hurts my knees every time I look at it.
I think what I noticed, it looks like such an unnatural kind of motion, but I guess that's just for me never really doing it. You know what I mean?
I would not say it's natural.
Yeah. 'Cause it's like boom. It looks like an exaggerated James Harden Euro step for sure.
It kind of is like a sham god, right?
Yeah.
So like it's really, I don't know. It's almost like, it sounds so stupid, but it's almost like riding a bike because your foot kind of comes up in that motion. But imagine if you took the full impact, if you like took a jump off of a ramp with a bike and you just took it on one leg and kept going. So you cycle in the air, hit it, boom. Cycle in the air, hit it, boom.
You're like
Well, the jumps that don't hurt tend to be the jumps that go the furthest. Wow. And then every other jump is kind of like a learning lesson and like, oh, wow, I stuck my foot out too far or I jammed my ankle or something like that.
Do you remember that feeling like when you would jump from a high distance, like maybe you're at the playground and you'd land on your feet and like that shock
Yeah.
Like, do you ever have experience that?
I only feel that if I've done something wrong.
Okay, because like I feel like once of that, and I'm like, I'm done.
I've only felt that like if I've like, it's so strange, but the way you're jumping is that if you ever pause a jumper and if they're literally straight up perpendicular to the ground, they're going to have a pretty good jump because all their forces are lined up.
Okay.
Now, if they're back a little bit, that's when you feel that playground stomp because you're like breaking into the ground. And if you're too far forward, that's when you see people eat track.
I feel like I would be the type that would eat track all the time.
Yeah.
Times? You do a couple times.
So this is how like me and Gio would be. We would like literally run right up until like the very end of it and just keep running through the Did it.
Oh man. That's
Nice
insane.
question. Like when you hit your butt, is it where you landed furthest back?
Yeah, like if someone falls and they like put their hand all the way back in the sand, or some girls, their hair will brush like they have long ponytails, it'll brush the sand. That's where your mark gets measured.
Holy shit.
Oh
So
wow.
hair is important.
Your hair
That's
up.
cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
Bun up, jump up, bro.
Hey, dude, talking about like good luck pronouncing names. Give me Olympic commentators. The best.
Yeah, for sure. It's like how are you gonna like get the names right all the time? They have to do their studies.
Good luck with that one.
No, they get it wrong all the time. But they just have confidence. So everyone's like, yeah, that's Bushey.
Yeah.
Bushey, yeah.
This is Kayla Bushey.
Yeah.
No, I sent a voice message to Gary. I was like, is it Boucher or is it Bushy? And he never answered. And then when he introduced you, I was like, Bushy. Okay, cool. That's what
Make it fancy. I tell him, I'm like, it's just not fancy, bushy.
Bushy. I was like, oh, it's Boucher because it's,
This is
like Waterboy, yeah.
Yeah. Bobby Boucher.
Kayla Bushey.
This is one of my favorite jumpers right there.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
So what's her story?
She is, I think she jumps for Portugal.
Okay.
But I love her style because it's almost like she's like skipping rocks when she jumps. It doesn't look like it takes any effort at all. And we're the same height, so I like that. She's like
Very
5'6",
cool.
I think. So.
Yeah.
And the way she landed doesn't look painful.
Mm-mm.
It does not hurt. The sand's about 3 feet deep.
Damn.
That's almost as tall as me.
I think what you're talking about, like with motion too. There was like a video of Michael Johnson, and he was the archetype for sprinters for so long, where they were like breaking down his running, where like they would train runners that way. And I think Usain Bolt came a long way when everybody talked about how somebody that tall should not have that much power in such a short distance. And Michael Johnson was going through the tape on him and how he just creates this torque off the gate where no one else physically can do that. Where I think like you're talking about your height too. I was like, I wonder how much your height affects this. If at all, what are your thoughts on that?
Height affects everything, but it doesn't limit anything. So you can, like we talked about Usain Bolt. Bolt, what is he, 6'5"?
6'6", yeah.
Tall. The thing is, like, if you look at Usain Bolt's running videos, he's the last person almost always in his winning races to leave the blocks because he has a longer stride to push out of the blocks. But it's kind of like if you pull back a rubber band, the harder you pull it back, the faster it'll release. So, like, if you have people who kind of fall out the blocks and it's really choppy, then they're going to slow down later. Whereas, like, if you pull back that rubber band further, you're going to have a really nice speed at the end of it.
Okay.
So the same thing kind of goes for jumpers is that if you're taller, your hip height, you're already 6 inches above the ground higher than everybody else. And for every second longer you can stay in the air, you usually gain about 5 to 6 inches of distance.
Okay.
So it's just like little things like that. But I think people get really stuck up on the part where they're like, oh, Usain Bolt looks like this. And if you look at Usain Bolt, he rolls his shoulders a lot when he runs. And that's something that him and his coach don't like. They've been trying to fix that. But people will go back and they're like, oh, Usain Bolt's the best sprinter. I need to roll my shoulders when I run.
Yeah.
And it's something that people are trying to fix. And so you have to look at the mechanics of what's being done rather than who's doing it, because you're just going to have standout people, Michael Phelps, Simone Biles, Usain Bolt. Whereas like Michael Johnson, he arched his chest so far forward. A lot of people lock up their backs doing that. So you have to find what's ever authentically your style, and then just make sure you're matching the physics with it, because nobody's going to look like you if you're breaking records, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about coaching in the future?
People ask. So I coached at a college for the last couple years. I would be open to it, but I love so many other things. I feel like people have multiple lives within their life if they're lucky.
For sure.
And so I want to completely live out the track and field athlete life first before I dig into like a coaching life. So
Because the way you explained it, though, just like made guys like us understand. And then I can imagine like you giving just different advice to different other athletes depending on their strategy and their technique and their body types. So and a lot of people don't look at that when they're coaching. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah. You always
That was awesome.
come on, let's go.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was like, damn, a lot of these things that you said should be on a t-shirt.
For sure. But it's like you get the coaches like who are superb athletes. And I'm like, why can't you do what I can do?
Oh my gosh, there's some OG coaches out in like Arizona, and they're 70 years old, but because they know how to like correctly run, they'll be running next to this 22-year-old who's running like 10-second hundreds in practice on repeats, and they're just like with their camera running next to them, like, good job, get your knees up. Like, it's insane.
That's crazy.
Absolute freaks.
For real.
So here's a dumb question. How many attempts do you get in this event?
So the rules are changing. IAAF, they're trying to change up and shake up some things, but historically you get 3 jumps in prelims. And if one of your 3 jumps is in the top 9, you get 3 more jumps in finals. If it's a really big competition, they'll separate the day that you do prelims and finals and put a couple days in between. Otherwise, they'll do the 6 jumps straight through, and whoever falls below 9 doesn't get to jump anymore.
Okay.
The new rules that they're looking at would be everybody, make sure I do this right. Everybody jumps the first 3, and then if you're top 3, you get 3 more jumps, and then whoever, no matter what you jumped in the prelims, those don't matter. And whatever you jump in those final 3 jumps, they're looking to do a first, second, and third place. So it's kind of like a really different thing. It's getting a lot of pushback, so we'll have to see if that carries over into the Olympics for next year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She's awesome.
Wow.
I think she competes for Germany. She just broke like 1450. Do you guys work in meters, metric at all?
Yeah, I can work both. I got a computer right here.
I would say anything over 12 meters, and women's, you're starting to look at somebody who has a lot of potential. 13 meters, you're looking at like a junior Olympics. 14 meters, that's elite. 15 meters is world record for women.
Okay. So that's 45 feet, Gio.
Thanks, Gary.
Good job.
Did that all in my head.
Like, you don't think of it like 45 feet. Just think of it like I only have to go 15 feet 3 times.
But if I do get it, I'm going to tell everybody it's 45 feet.
Yeah.
Did you guys see I jumped 45 feet?
You mean 15 feet each? No, 45 feet.
45 feet, bro.
Bro, believe me, bro.
I went to the fucking moon too, bro. Want to watch The Office, bro?
Have you listened to MGK's new pop punk album, bro?
Oh yeah, bro. Yo, I just gotta say, why doesn't Tiger Woods have his own mixed drink?
Because of the cancel culture.
What, Arnold
See, that's a callback right there.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
We're milking it. We're milking it as much as we can. That was a splash right there. Could you imagine? Okay, so here's.
Oh God. What are you gonna ask, Gary?
Okay, so I'm just saying, if ever they're like, all right, we're gonna do like the extreme version of this, right? Jump over fucking sharks.
I was about to say daggers, bro. Because
Right?
when you splash, it's just shooting out,
Right?
you know?
Like, I don't know if you've seen, like, I mean, they have the XFL. Like, they started that and they're like, all right, no coin toss. You're both just gonna head first right into the ball. Right?
Is that what they do?
Yeah, that's what they used to do in the XFL.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm saying it's insane, right? But no one in their right mind ever thought that was going to happen. But let's just say some crazy ass billionaire gets a hold of this sport. You're like, Kayla, in your event, you're going to be jumping over a bunch of starved piranhas.
We gotta remember track. Track stems from everyday like survival things.
Right.
So who can run the fastest? Who can throw something the furthest? Like a discus used to be like a rock. A javelin used to be a spear. Triple jumping's like jumping over ponds or rivers. So everything kind of has a thing from the past.
Yeah.
And then there's wrestling.
Which is like who can tickle who.
Exactly. But that's crazy. So like that quote, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. It's like,
it's true.
Dude,
I mean, like these
it's
triple
true.
jumpers, you're like, dude, if I'm building like a dream team in the jungle, I got to have Kayla Bushey on my team, dude.
damn right.
Right?
Yeah, if you set up the runway and then you met the ball, and you're like, okay, that's her mark. It's coming, her. Yeah. Then we can.
What was that like old game on Nintendo? It was like pratfall or something where you had to like jump across.
Yeah.
That's what
All right, so we got 2 ticklers and 1 triple jumper. We just
Yep.
need a guy that can throw things really far.
Yep.
Or whoever person that could throw things far. And what else do we need?
So this girl did 1344 right
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Cubana.
She's a badass.
The Cuban jumpers jump beautifully. They hit the ground and you'll see their knee pop up almost the same time their foot hits the ground at the same time.
Damn.
But they start training when they're a specialty country. They start training at 12, 13.
Okay.
So they're usually around an elite level by the time they're 17 to 19.
Yeah, because they take care of their athletes over there, right?
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, not the economy, but they take care of their athletes. I think.
They create great programs for the athletes. I'm not sure how the money works over there.
Okay.
I don't think it's as capitalist as the U.S., where you can make your own money. Usually, I think the money goes back to the country rather than the individual athlete.
Yeah, for sure. Cuba's communist Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how could people support you? I guess we're on the topic of money. Besides just straight giving you cash, obviously, which we can.
Me individually, or just the
Yeah,
athlete?
yeah. Like you and athletes too.
I think, well, if I could make like a major change within like the U.S., I think it would be incredible to have stipends for more than just the top 10 athletes in the world. Because right now, the U.S. is so competitive that if you placed 4th or 5th in the U.S. trials, you could have placed 4th or 5th at the Olympics. Whereas like other countries, I don't want to say that horribly, but some countries have just started their programs maybe in the last 10 years, whereas the U.S. has been doing it since like the 1920s.
Damn.
But there's places in Europe that support their athletes with, maybe $1,500 a month to work on something. And a lot of times in the U.S., even if you make a team, you're looking at anywhere from maybe $750 a month or less to get your apartment and do a whole bunch of all like different stuff. So it would be even incredible if colleges were more open to having athletes on their tracks if they wanted to train, or getting unattached athletes into meets and it wasn't so hard, things like that.
So was it like the team Foxcatcher? They took care of their wrestlers before the guy
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah, maybe not.
That was such a problem too. I think like if it's still kind of a problem, like what Kayla's talking about, It would be kind of interesting too if they had like stipends based on performance too. Like if you're not top 10, you're like, hey, I hit, like you're saying, like 12 meters or something like that, right? You know, and you're like, oh, here's X amount of money. That would be kind of cool.
I mean, but I cannot even complain because being an athlete today is so much better than it was 20 years ago, just because of Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Like, people can actually watch what you're doing.
Sure.
Whereas, you know, even 15 years ago, you had to be the top 3 that a shoe company picked up to sponsor for people to know about you. Like, I think last week was the first time I had somebody want to take a picture with me, and I think I've got like 3,000 followers. So it's like, it's a cool thing to be an athlete right now, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
You just made me think when you're talking about like when people would get sponsored, like that Dan versus Dave thing in like 92, when like Reebok invested all these things in these decathletes to be like, who's gonna qualify? And neither of them ended up doing shit.
Man, sorry, keep going.
No, and that's like the end of the thing, but it's like you talk about like risk, but I think you've done, like on your YouTube channel, you talked about your entrepreneurial shit with, you know, how to make money off your Instagram and stuff, with like what LeBron makes and what you makes. I thought that was a dynamic.
I don't think it's ever too early to monetize. And I think for a long time I was like, oh, I need to have this many followers and I need to be the top 3 in the world, this, and that. And then I'm looking at these athletes who are top in their category and they're broke. I'm like, there's so much that people care about the come up story more than they care about maybe supporting the person who's already on top, because you can connect with that person more. And so that's what I'm really trying to do now, is like put myself out there and learn about how the contracts work, how the money works to get to travel, how Europe works, how branding yourself, creating products. Like, I think more athletes need to look at that development side and develop more mentally a business sense, because as an athlete, your body is now a business. Like, and if you're, even when it comes to like insuring body parts, or, you know, just little things like that that you never know about, especially maybe coming from a smaller college like ours, like it makes a big difference, you know?
100%. 100%. Yeah, I think just in terms of like what you're selling too, I think it's beneficial. I, speaking as a customer too, I mean, like having the disc board, and buying it for an athlete, and then them using it even for push-ups and stuff like that. I love what you're doing, man. I'm so glad you came aboard and talked with us.
Thank you.
Gia, got any closing thoughts, closing questions, buddy?
I don't. I think she answered every question that I had in mind already. Usually I'll be like, man, what about this? What about that? Now I'm just like, no, I got those are all the questions I have.
I think this has been one of the first podcasts I think that we've had an athlete explain through and through, and kind of been so informed. So we're really grateful for that.
I hope it was not boring. Gosh, I feel like
it was good.
And my life is so wrapped up in jumping in sand, and stuff. I'm like making my own shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, awesome. Shit. That's the thing. We're so crazy. Like, we're thinking about jokes and shit like that too. We're like, oh, that would be funny. We're like, we just lose empathy at some point too. Yeah.
I was just like, let me not joke too much on this episode, because I'm actually learning about something.
Dude, it's like being in school all over again. You're like, shut up. That was a good one. Just shut up.
Yeah. Don't be the class clown today. Don't be the class clown.
I have those thoughts all the time. That always happens in like business meetings where I want to make a joke, and then I just have to tell myself like, no. Like, stop.
Looking canceled.
Yeah. No, I think I had a meeting once, and it was during when this COVID outbreak happened, and this meeting is for my job. They were like, you know, the best thing you guys can do is just put some salt around the dispensary and just burn some sage, just so you can, like, you know, scare the COVID away. And I was just like in the background, like, are you serious? Like, this is so much material, but I can't say anything. Like, watch out, Fauci. I got the cure, and it's sage, buddy.
Dude, I've been using my healing rock, dude.
Yeah. COVID, what's your moon sign, bro?
You're like, dude, are you infected? No, dude. Good vibes only, bro.
See, now we made it like very like.
Yeah.
We
There
made,
you go.
we made
Thanks,
it from
Kayla.
yeah. See, we ruined it, Gary. We ruined it.
We ruined it. We had someone come on the show and actually inform us. And here we are ruining it.
No, you guys are fine. You guys, like, stay true to yourselves. That's all you ever need.
This is what we need. We need an athlete for this show, like Kayla, who's gonna be like our Rocky, and we're just gonna be like Paulie, dude. Just a couple of drunk degenerates. Bro, we're in your corner.
Story of my life, bro.
All right, so I got my closing question.
Yes.
Okay. If you had to bet, who do you think's gonna win the October 24th fight between Justin Gaethje and Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov.
I have to go only with Khabib because that's the only name I know.
Okay.
That's so bad. I should learn about other sports now.
Well, to tell you the truth, Kayla, I think he's like the favorite right now.
Yeah, he's open at I think 180.
Woo!
He's up the favor.
Yeah.
I feel like I could be a fighter, but the minute I got hit, I just don't think I get back up. Like, I think I could fight until I got hit, which is terrible. I'm a bad fighter. Like, I'd run away, like, in the ring. I got tired enough.
She's the triple jumping, glass jawed phenom, Kayla Bushey.
I'd have to be one of those people who just runs straight into the person and just kicks him in the face. And then if that doesn't bring him down, I just got to lay down.
That's a lot of kickboxers in UFC, dude, actually.
That's just Masvidal against Askren, dude.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I'm super impressed by fighters. I'm super impressed. I love, like, watching other sports because almost everything always connects. Even if it's just, like, a roundhouse kick or just something like that, it always has, like, this linear thing that goes through all the sports that I love to watch. I'm even kind of excited for the CrossFit Games. So that's saying a lot.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kayla. This was an awesome episode. We learned so much. You're more than welcome anytime to come on the show.
Yeah, just let us know. We watch other sports too, man. Like since you're such a sports fan, we watch everything. We're about to watch some Tiddlywinks.
What?
Are we? No, I was like, are we? And for you guys that are listening or watching or whatever you're doing with this podcast, thank you so much for staying tuned and learning with us. And remember to stay employed because we're not.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, what's up? It's Gary Miller, one half of Unemployed Commentators and owner of Best Worst Cantina Media. If you guys like this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. And if we had guests, be sure to follow them, check their stuff out. We're always lucky. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Like I said, if you like this podcast, like it, share it, follow it. We exist because you guys allow us to exist. We're going to keep creating as long as you guys keep watching. Thank you.